Oh, that's good. Yeah. Alright. That's good. Whatever. Oh, what the? There we go. Hey, how's it going? A little late casting today. Thanksgiving and all. How you doing? Yeah, how do you think of it? I barely played it. Nope, not at all. So it's part of the fun, I guess. I don't know, I always found the Zelda bosses to be incredibly easy. You just had to figure out the pattern, that was about it. Every single boss has a pattern to it. Then again, I guess that's true with most games. Unless it's Dark Souls. Dark Souls, you don't... no such thing. It's like you try to figure out, oh, what's the best place I can sit to not get hit? And it turns out the boss just like flies up and smashes down whatever cover you were behind, and until it gets rid of that idea. Oh, I should probably... it's been... oh, I'm full from Thanksgiving. The tryptophan is hitting. I don't know. Stuff. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, I just beat Saints Row 3, and now I gotta... Sega sent me like 3 different games, so I gotta go around and play in those. I don't know if they want me to review all of them, although I'm assuming they do. But Sonic Generations 3DS I gotta review, I know that. It's the only one that came with any sort of document about reviewing. Oh, fuck this. I need to get him. It's this weird, like, Come on. It's one of those types of, like, puzzles where you gotta make sure you're hitting at the right angle. What the hell? Well, that was fun. Okay. boring shit. And I couldn't bother with that last one. I think I know what that one is anyway. What? Oh, it's a fairy. I was like, this looks exactly like a treasure chest. What the? Oh, that kind of crazy glitch. Oh wait, hold on a second. Alright, sometimes. Excuse me, I need to do something real quick. There we go. Ah. Oh, JTV, you're so messed up. What kind of pizza you eating? Hot peppers and bacon. Sounds more like what you would put on a breakfast pizza than a late night pizza. I'd want stuff that would calm me down, not like raise my blood pressure. You ever had breakfast pizza? The typical stuff that you would put on one, like sausage, eggs, bacon, cheese, of course, mozzarella cheese. We must come to a fight. I'm gonna use your shovels to bury you. Oh, that looks a lot worse than it actually was. Kick him in the shins, take him down. I guess in this case, he is right in the bucket. Yeah, I know, right? That's why I got really into watching, way a long time ago, I used to be really into, yeah, really like huge 7-inch opponents. But like a decade ago, I spent so much time in Final Fantasy and I would watch these videos from this guy who played the Japanese version of it, and you get all excited seeing people like dishing out some gigantic animations, you know, chain combo, chain TPs and all this stuff, crazy combos and magic and whatnot. The bigger the better, in my opinion, when it comes to like the huge explosions. It gets you that much more excited to level up your character to get those kind of moves. It's kind of like in Ragnarok Online, we had this move, I forget what it's called, it's like Apocalypse or something like that. It would rain down like a meteor, a bunch of meteors down to the ground. It was pretty cool. It's like one of the high level spells. Oh, me too. I played a lot, like when I got to play the closed beta for it. The problem is, back when our computer had a problem with like the fan on the processor or something, so it'd keep locking up. And this was back when, you know, we didn't really care to try to deal with the problem. We just blamed it on HP. That was the computer we bought. But we played some of the closed beta, and I got jealous because they would have those special those Christmas specials and stuff like that, so they had like all the snow out and the huge Christmas tree and people and stuff. But I think that might have been when they started doing some of that stuff. That's when they had to make you pay during some parts of the beta. Oh, it's odd now. My brother's been casting, so let me fix that. Oh yeah, he jacked that down a little bit. Here. Let's do this. My bad. But yeah, I think that was when I wanted to do the Christmas stuff and whatnot. That's when they started to make you pay. I think it was at that time I kind of switched over to EverQuest or something like that. The original. Just for a little bit. Yeah. I tried to play the private servers, but you know when you could level up like instantly, and I mean I still played a bunch of it, I did. I think I technically did. I never paid for Ragnarok Online. I did play the private servers and stuff like that. But as I was saying, when they started letting you do that, it took a lot of the fun out of it. I used to have like all these guides and stuff like that, even for the private servers. Yeah, that bummed me out. I thought it was pretty cool when I could find some of those servers where there was no words, and like I felt kind of funny because like I would go to the normal level up areas, but nobody was around those places because they're like, whatever. Because then you would just go to like ant hell and start attacking those eggs and level up instantly, you know, all the way. I'm gonna get to level 80, you know. One of my favorite moments of the closed beta, I think, was when I found out the deadliness of dead branches. And so, like, they didn't fix them at that point or something like that, so people would go into towns and use a dead branch, and all of a sudden you got, like, these gigantic, notorious monsters walking around killing everybody, even, like, especially those that kind of just sit there and, you know, trade stuff, like the little merchants and stuff like that. Holy shit, it was so funny, because everyone was going nuts, like, oh, nobody could take those down. All you see is, like, this wake of death and destruction. And you see like Bahamut's and oh my gosh, that was all kinds of dead merchants, and you're like, oh man, it'd be so cool if more games did that, you know? You know how cool it would be that you would have people like being able to release something inside a town. That would be so hectic. It would piss off a lot of people, but it would be so hectic. like even town, you can't even be safe in town anymore. It's like, oh man, I just survived being chased down by these grasshoppers, like 10 grasshoppers chasing after me, and I couldn't get it. What MMO? Oh, Rift, yeah. Did you ever play Asheron's Call? Yeah, my two brothers tried to play Rift, but they never really talked about it. Well, in Asheron's Call, there's okay, so it's like, you know, your typical MMO where you have like all these towns and stuff like that. There's even these places where you can go to, usually around beaches, where it'll warp you to sort of like kind of a conference sort of area where, you know, there's like a bunch of benches, and then there's a little stand at the end, a little platform for people to talk to, like if they wanted to get their guild mates and stuff like that together to do stuff, and then they have small meeting rooms off to the side. So there's these different places around it, and I thought that was always pretty cool. But one of the things was, there was this town where there was a lot of you know, it's kind of like EverQuest when you have like a bunch of this little town area where you have a bunch of shops and, you know, blacksmiths and even just random houses with NPCs inside of them. Well, one of the cool things about that game was that if you could level up, like if you had the right ability, you can like skill your character where he could jump on top of houses and stuff like that. So you'd see people jumping on houses, running alongside it, just standing on top, like trying to jump on top of a chimney. And just kind of, you see people like just sitting down, which was more like a meditating kind of thing. So they would be like, you know, I don't know if it was cross-legged or it was, you know, straight up down on their knees kind of thing, sitting on their knees. Well, what happened was there was this great place that was pretty popular, and another cool thing was that they had these crazy swords. Like one where it was a sword that had like a bunch of spikes like ran down the side of it, like it was like a jagged sword kind of thing, you know. So that was just one of the coolest swords I remember. I was like, ever since then, when I used to draw swords, you know, when you kind of doodle in class, you just started drawing different kinds of weapons, and that was the one I was thinking of all the time. But so what happened was, okay, so that was a great place to go to, and you know, there's a lot of people there, and they're all jumping up on top of the houses and stuff like that. So it was kind of like it was a goofy place to be. What happened was that, alright, I went away from Asheron's Call. I used to have a clan, and we would buy these orange robes that are really cheap, like, I don't know, 10 gold pieces or something like that, you know, and they weren't difficult at all, and we would run around with these orange robes. Hey, Carlos, hey, this just another. We would have, like, orange robes. I'm just telling a story about Asheron's Call. So, anyway, so that town, which was great, people jumping on houses and all that stuff. What happened was I went away because I stopped playing it for a little while, and I came back maybe about a year later, or maybe months later. What happened was that they introduced this instance where, okay, now instead of there's a town, there's this huge crater in the ground. And the story is that, like, alright, so you see, like, there's nothing there anymore, just a big crater, and then you have, like, these different, you have these different NPCs that are kind of, you know, scattered around on the edges, a few people here and there, and, basically they're saying that this horde of monsters came and destroyed the entire town, and, you're supposed to basically find a group to go after them, and of course, I was a new character again, so I was like, I couldn't go and chase after these monsters. But the fact of the matter is, my favorite place to hang out in the game after I level up my character was this place, and they destroyed it. And that pretty much ruined Asheron's Call for me, because I mean, I used to be so into that game, and then they introduced that, and I was like, oh, so bummed out. I think if I could even look, maybe if I look up the store, is it Asheron's? What was it? I'm trying to remember. Because even till then, it was yeah, wiped to the town, put a crate in the. Yeah, that I don't like when they do that, because it was used to be like doing something like that. I don't know why more people wouldn't pissed off about something like that. Oh, was it Arwick? I think it was Arwick. I think I found it. Maybe they got a picture of it. Oh man, I'm looking at Google Images. Look at these Google Images, man. This game used to look great. Like, oh, this used to be like amazing graphics and everything. Now I'm looking at it like, wow, how did I even play a game like this? It's that kind of thing, you know. It's like when you go back and play Final Fantasy, like you used to think, oh man, this game used to be like mind-blowing, and then you go back and like, oh, why did I ever thought this was highly impressive? But then again, that was the same thing you thought of like Ocarina of Time. No, not really. I mean, I thought EverQuest looked really cool. Like you would cast, what is it, Spirit of Wolf to get people, so people would get like sit outside of a town gate and just start having people, they would start casting Spirit of Wolf on people for money, and that's how they kind of grinded. So stupid. Wait. Arwick had been blasted out of existence. There was nothing left but a fiery crater. Oh man, people just telling these stories. Oh yeah. There's a story about a guy. It's like, ha, I remember logging into my character that was in Arwick, not knowing anything about the destruction of the town. I was on the second floor of the tavern, or where the tavern used to be. When I logged in, all I did was fall into a charred smoking pit that used to be Arwick. Good times. Oh man. That was me. That was the last place I had. I think that maybe I had the same character, because otherwise how would I have found Arwick in the first place? So I must have been like right in, I must have spawned right inside the town. Maybe if I... Oh man, you know, it'd be so cool if someone actually had a video of Arwick. But I don't think they do. No. Oh well, at least I know what town it was. It does the music? All of Ragnarok Online's music is some of the best, and it's kind of cool. I think it's the same person who did the Cowboy Bebop music, so you know they did a really good job. I'm trying to figure out what the was it Frontera? It was the field right outside of Frontera. There we go. There we go. That's the music. Did you hear that they, did you hear about Ragnarok Online too? About how they tried to have it this different look, but they ended up like completely wiping it away and then trying it all over again. I don't know what they really did with it though. What was the? Give me the. Try to find me the music for. Oh, they wiped it again. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the song is of the place that was right outside. Was it Prontera? The field, because that's where I spent most of my time. Was the hello Ben? That's where, of course, you spend most of your time just killing porons and stuff like that. I remember when I first started attacking those little gels. I was always just attacking all the pink ones, and then I saw like a green or a blue one I start to attack, and I just get wiped out. You know. I know in the desert you would always come across the I forget what they call it, like the chocobo-looking birds. Yeah, that's it. Oh man, yeah, the Picos, of course, because you can ride them as like an. I used to be a crusader, and I liked having to, you know, use your shield as a weapon and stuff like that, and the cross. Man, I want to go back and play this. I would totally play this on stream. Just jump up on the free server, the Valkyrie server, or whatever, and just play this again. I know there was somebody not too long ago that was playing this on Justin TV, and they were like a really high level character too. Oh yeah, this is like the best MMO music I can think of, really, no doubt, because it's like the most memorable. You don't really remember the music from other games, even Warcraft and stuff like that. Someone's invited me to go to a Halo 1 LAN party. I just kind of want to turn off the music for the game. This is better than Chrono Cross. Alright, I gotta... Oops. I forgot. Did I picked up something, done? Yeah, I did. I need to give him something for a change. And Chrono Cross music is great now, it's just that for some reason this deep, profound love for Ragnarok Online's music. I think it's because, like I said, it's the kind of music I put on my iPod and just listen to it all the time. I think it's because you hear it a lot because you spent hours and hours in the same place, and it got really stuck into your skull. I think the worst was when you went to the area that was right next to it. You like the place with all the grasshoppers, and then you would attack those. Oh, man, we call them charm. Man, if I remembered all the characters' names. The rockers, of course, but then you also face the butterflies. Oh crap, don't attack those damn things. My favorite part was when, yeah, the creamies. Oh my god. They were assholes. You would come back, like, what I did was I leveled up to a pretty high level, maybe like 50 or something like that, and then I came back and just wiped out all the creamies, because, man... And the worst part is that it was before they fixed it and stuff like that, so someone would have all this aggro on them, and they would run to the exit, and then the aggro would go straight to you. Anybody who was like pretty much around that area, and they start attacking you. Or like you would want to get to a place to become like to, I don't know if it was become the next level or something like that. You'd have to go through all these really dangerous areas, and you didn't want to fight anything, and then they just kind of piled up and attacked you. Or like a notorious monster would just sort of appear out of nowhere, even on like a newbie area, just wipe you out. Like it's time to go back into it. Hey KC93. Apologize, we're just kind of reminiscing about Ragnarok Online. I loved being a Crusader though. I think that was my favorite class. Just because they look so cool. The next would have to be the Rogue, because I was all decked out, and then I would go to the PvP area, and then I would make myself invisible. I'd run around and then backstab the guy and like deal massive amounts of damage. I'd kill like there's like assassins have like high attack, of course, but they don't have really good defense. So I'd run around and like just totally obliterate them, and I get so much experience from that. I'm sure it was. Yeah, you could just nerf it. People, you just like kind of, you would be invisible, and of course, I don't know who, I forget which class it was that had the ability to like, it was like a big like wave when they could like discover who you are. Oh, good night, Ben. In case you didn't think, I think you'll really like this site, man. It's one of the best sites to go to. This is my guilty pleasure because people like to put a lot of like TV shows and stuff like that on here as well, so I just kind of sit here and I used to like lay back on my bed and turn on just the TV, start something and go to bed just watching shows or something like that, so I think you'll really like this place. Oh, that's a bitch. I wouldn't like that one bit. Yeah, it was so broken. It was so broken. And my next favorite was the oh god, the monk. Because what would happen was that you would like okay, so you'd be beating up the people, and then you would just charge up, and like boom, and just like a huge amount of damage. A Surah Strike, oh my god, just distinctly boom, just the amount of like chaos. And, yeah, KC90, this is the best place for game streams because people, of course, you got like hundreds of people always casting different stuff, even the brand new games, all the way back to retro games like this. People doing marathons, that kind of thing. It's definitely like, if you want a place we can go to, it's fantastic. But they also have Twitch TV, of course, which is like the gaming arm of it. So if you're looking for a specific game you want to see, Twitch TV is pretty good at just sorting by game instead of, you know, lumping them all together. But yeah, you find a lot of friends here too. I got like a lot of friends that I came to the site just to talk about different stuff. I could sit here and talk about Asheron's Call and Ragnarok Online. Oh, it's so fantastic. But man, absolutely, man. This is what I grew up on. So I have like this urge to spread the word. Chrono is my third favorite game of all time, so I like to really show it off. You did? What did you do? Did you hack? You hacker. Oh man, that was good damage. I gotta find a Surah Strike. Some put RO, best Asura strike in history. Oh, it's all in 240p. Oh, this is the greatest music ever. Man, he's just busting out the video editing skills in this video. Who saw that coming? Me. Sorry, guys. That was great. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, man. Let's get this one. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get this Spanish video. There you go, so Ramstein. Just the 9999. Alright, let's get rid of that. Ramstein is a lot easier. They may be heavy, but they don't need to be loud. I'm sorry, guys. I did not expect that to go. When I saw him attacking like normal monsters, I was just like, oh, this can't be good. Oh, I think I missed something. Oh. Oh, man. I just can't get over the fact that I think at that time Rogue was probably the best. Hey, just another Casey, did you guys ever play any of these games we're talking about? Were you into online games at all, I guess? That would be a better question. Come on, Skelly. Whoa! Jesus Christ. I think it's soundless, really, because, I mean, even at the time, it's more the music and stuff like that. It was very well done. I mean, when did Ragnarok Online come out? Like 9 years ago? 8 years ago? Yeah, Casey, me either so much, is that there's only like a few games I really got into. Like, I could never get into World of Warcraft at all. I could not see the appeal of that game at all. I thought it looked way too cartoony and stuff like that. I think the only games I really got into is Ragnarok Online, Asheron's Call, and Final Fantasy XI. Just because Final Fantasy had that great foundation, so it helped me get into it. But if it wasn't for that, I probably would have avoided it too. Nope. Do I have... Yeah, it's true. I think it's just if you grew up on RPGs like I did, grinds aren't as big a deal. But there's some games out there, like I remember there's a few games where basically you could just sit back. Holy crap! I should have. I just got Skelly killed. I'm not paying attention. Clearly. Yeah, it's true. Oh, and RF Online. I played a lot of RF Online. Grind can be okay if you have the right party, because what happens is that it doesn't even feel like a grind. You're too busy like talking to each other and stuff like that, and racking up levels. They fixed Final Fantasy XI where now you can get levels like mad. Then again, they also raised the level cap, so instead of level 75, you're level 100, which pissed off a lot of people. It's like, come on now. Oh, I need to study at this. Yeah, Planet Side 2, that's going to be free, so I guess it's going to be a lot easier for you to get into. Apparently, Richard Gary, who was behind, the Ultimate series and stuff like that, he is talking up this MMO they say is going to completely change the face of the MMO landscape, but I was like, you did Tabula Rasa? And I was like, I think it was Richard Gary, wasn't it? Or was it his brother or something like that? But, I don't know. I don't feel like, unless it's a free-to-play MMO, I don't think you can really do that anymore. I don't think Old Republic is going to be that successful, for example, because it's relying on a paid subscription model, and I don't think Warcraft just got away with it because it's been there for so long that, back when it was okay to do that kind of thing. that people still are willing to do that for those games. Well, if anyone's going to say game-changing, if Richard Garrett says it, I believe him, but at the same time, I hold him like higher regard than like Peter Molyneux, who would say it's game-changing when it's really, you know, it's like, you kinda did alright. You really fucked up in Fable 3, but you kinda get it right sometimes. Hey, I hate that bullshit. Not that he does much damage, but... Freeze your engine! Yeah, I got like 4 invites for the beta. Like, I got 4 different codes for the beta, and I was like... My brother got really into it because he thought it was cool how you could switch between 2 different... I mean, you could switch between Jedi and Darth. But at the same time, it's like, all they did was take a game that could have been a single-player title and just move it online. It's still relying on old mechanics. If you see on an RPG site, I did a couple previews for a game called Terra, the realm of was it Exiled Realm of Arborea. It's actually pretty damn cool, and you know it's been out for a while. They've been messing things up lately, but it's been out for a while, and basically, yeah, it's got some really cool mechanics like you can become the king of an entire region, so your name appears on the map, and you can do things like set up NPC shops, send people, create your own events, and defend your area and stuff like that, and you know, control politics and stuff like that. Which I think it's a great twist on things, you know. And because last 2 E3s I did a behind closed doors demo of it. The first time it was just straight up, you know, learning who the characters are and stuff like that. And this year is when they introduced the whole mechanic of being a king or a queen or something like that. And it was a lot of fun. I became Ranger, which is something I'm very comfortable with, and everyone kept dying in my group during the demo, and I was just running around shooting arrows at the dude and saving lives. That and the 2 guys who were running the demo, of course, they were all alive as well. But they had trouble keeping people going, and they were just saying, "Man, you really know how to use a Ranger." I was like, "Yeah, you know, 6 years of doing it in Final Fantasy XI. I better know how to be a Ranger." Power Ranger. Oh! It's like bitch smacking the thing. I think I'm doing pretty decent damage here, I think. There we go. Get out! Get out! And there was that, and there was another game I forget that came out. That was another Korean RPG that had a lot of melee combat in it. I can't really seem to remember what it was. Checklist for Black Friday. You see, that's the thing, is that everyone goes for midnight. I don't see too many good deals right now, and I'm moving out to my own place in January, so I'll be buying a bunch of stuff. But right now, it's like I'm looking to CES in January to see like what the kind of cool stuff that they got, because Sony's talking about like this revolutionary new TV, and some people are saying that it's supposed to replace cable. Like there's going to be like the cloud-based television or something like that. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want that. I just can't seem to go get a deal for a TV when it's like TVs that are a year old or something like that. I'm really mess up with that. A PC case for free. I've seen a lot of, like, if I needed a PS3 or a 360, now would be the perfect time to get it, because I see a lot of those types of stuff, like $200 or less for a PS3, and like a 4GB Connect for like $200, or 4GB 360 that comes with like Battlefield 3 and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't. I still have my 60GB PS3 and I'm happy with it. Oh, that music, man. It's the bumming out music. He is a dwarf, I guess. Aren't you proud of yourself, Chrono? Sorry, Serge. I keep calling him Chrono. You can trust Scally to have some Dragon Ball Z type of senses here. I can't sense a power level. He must be dead. They had to follow me and spin in a circle. It's a pretty badass squad. What a ragtag bunch of weirdos. Oh yeah, this dude. This guy's got a really goofy looking jaw. Well, it's like a dragon, so it's just a big old frog looking thing. Good. I didn't want the exposition. It's because I didn't get Glenn. I'm stuck with Greco. Holy crap, what is this thing? Then again, of all the things I've fought since up to this point, this talking dragon wouldn't freak me out anyway. I did it in college for a while because I review games, so I was like, oh, you know, I mean, I got turned to Justin TV from like Google searches and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, it'd be cool if I could play some of the games that I'm reviewing. So I used to play games like White Knight Chronicles, and then I played Shadow of the Colossus and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed it because like one of the last bosses in that game was that you had to. It was like a really tricky puzzle to get up to where the boss was, and so it's like everyone was with me trying to like, oh no, and stuff like that. You know, just really like, trying to give me tips and stuff like that. And so I used to do it in college, and then I came home. I only started casting again about a few months ago, something like that, sometime in the summer. And yeah, I've just been playing a bunch of games. I did a marathon about a month and a week ago. It's been a lot of fun. It's really simple to do, so. No, absolutely not. God, stop playing this sad music. Oh, we're getting to that point. Oh, this crazy part. That's what I aspire to do. This just another. I aspire to have a lot of viewers, but at the same time, it's like I'm not too bummed out. I just need a good core of people here to watch me play, and that's all I really want. If I get more, I had, was it that one morning I had like 90 viewers watching me play Silent Hill 2, and that was pretty damn cool. But at the same time, it's like I don't need that many people. I just like being able to have a lot of people watch me play, and that's all. A good handful. Man, humans blow. Skelly's like, I'm not really human anymore. You could keep me here. Turn on slow mode. Sometimes chat can be pretty fun, but it's like you can't keep up with conversations. Like I used to do, I still do, Giant Bomb's JTV chat, and it's like, it's going so fast, you just can't keep up. The only time you can talk to people is like the moderators, because of course they stand out. What the heck? Oh shit. Favorite game of all time. I already have my top three. It's Xenogears, Final Fantasy IX, and Chrono Cross. I find Chrono Cross way better than Chrono Trigger. Personally. Yep, Final Fantasy IX, second place. And then it's like Final Fantasy VII is number 4, and then Final Fantasy VI is number 5. Final Fantasy VIII is my 10,000th favorite game. And Final Fantasy X is probably like the 20,000th favorite game. I love Final Fantasy IX. I think Final Fantasy IX is one of the greatest games of all time, no doubt. This is my list. Shut up. You can't criticize my list. Fuck that. You come up with your own damn list. Final Fantasy IV, 7th. Yeah, Final Fantasy IV is in my top 10. Suikoden 2 is really good. I just haven't really played much of it. I've heard a lot of great things about it though, and I did play a good chunk of it. I just never played it all the way to completion. I mean, I'm probably like, wait, I think I came up with the list. Oh wait, anyway. Suikoden. I took Chinese for 2 years. I hope I can get some sort of pronunciation right on those types of words. Not that it's Chinese, but you know, it's about figuring out where to enunciate the words. Suikoden. Yeah, 10 through 13, garbage, absolute garbage. And I don't know why people support 10 or 12 or 13 at all. I think they're terrible games. And this is coming from a guy who really enjoyed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. I hated 8. I didn't like 8 at all. But 1 through 9, except for 8. Although 1 and 2 probably weren't that great either. 2 was kind of, I guess 2 was iffy. 1 was pretty good. Suikoden. 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 I thought the characters were garbage in 8. And that's the same reason I didn't like 10, 12, or 13. I just hated the characters. I didn't like them at all. I thought Zell was a poser, gay dude who liked to hang out with Squall a little too much. I thought Squall was, of course, a little bastard who couldn't keep to his convictions, and that kind of pissed me off. Renoa was just a whiny bitch. Quistis was I guess Quistis was alright, but that's because she was like a hot teacher, it's like too hot for teacher. They ruined Sid, they made him a fat-ass principal. Cypher was your huge, stereotypical bad guy, not even like the cool kind of bad guy like Sephiroth, Sephiroth at least, he used to be good and stuff. I think they tried to make Cypher into sort of a Sephiroth character, because they made him work underneath another person, just kind of like how Sephiroth worked under Genova. They had Cypher working underneath that damn lady. And I thought the worst part, okay, there was a couple terrible parts. One was the whole Laguna stuff was bullshit. I hated that stuff. It was like, why should I care about these stupid idiots anyway? They have really stupid goals and they're not likable at all. This random giant dude and stuff like that. They were stupid, and they came out of like really shallow. Another was like when Squall had to like go out into space to save Renoa because she was being a dumb bitch like always, and then the ending when Squall like out of nowhere goes completely out of character and decides, okay, I'm gonna spare this woman. It's like, what the fuck? You totally ruined like the entire point of the plot of the game. You decided to throw that out the window and decided like, I'm gonna let this happen anyway. You just the whole time it was like, why? Why the whole thing? And then you also the whole amnesia bit. Going. They might have explained the amnesia bit a bit in the game, but how you use the when they use the summons or whatever, and then when they use them, they get amnesia and stuff like that. They lose part of the memory or something like that. I think they kind of explained how it's because they remembered about the orphanage or whatever, and they still got through it. But at the end of the game, when they still spared that woman's life, it's like, so you don't want to save the world, kind of thing. Squall's like, most of the time I'm going to kill the bitches, and I don't care. This time, I'm not going to do it. I'll pour him. I've been playing for RPGs since I was a little kid. I was playing, Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, like Dragon Warrior and stuff like that. I grew up on this stuff. I'm always tops story, character, and plot development. Those are huge RPG things. Like, if I don't like the characters, I'm not going to care about this game. Final Fantasy, I could give you so many reasons why 10 was a bad game, 12 was a bad game, and 13 was a bad game. 13 especially. I don't know why people can support 13 at all. Like, even the people are like, oh, this is misunderstood. People hate it just to be haters. It's like, wait till 20 hours into the game, you can go. Why the hell would you want to wait 20 hours into a game before the game can open up? It's like, if the first 20 hours doesn't do anything for you, why would you have the ball. Why would you bear through it just to get to that last 21 plus hours? You know, it's like 20 hours is a lot to ask from somebody to put up with that much shit. You know, there's some decent games with a good story lately. I just don't think you're going to find a lot of them. I mean, Last Story had an incredible story. Xenoblade, decent. More than decent, I mean, it's pretty damn good. A couple of the new Tales of Xillia is a pretty good story, you know? Saints Row 3 has a pretty good story. I just beat it. Oh my god, that story was pretty insane, but pretty well written, you know? Yeah, Trolls in the Sky, I reviewed that game. I love that game. The music, I think the music well overshadows the rest of the game, though. I don't think the story was that great in that, but the music, of course, insane guitar. We're noodling out. But yeah, someone sat here and said because I didn't like Final Fantasy 10 through 13, except for 11, of course. I spent so much time on that. I can't say I didn't like it. That'd be a lie. They said I didn't like fun, and I'm like, whatever, man. I just can't seem to get around to believing people who can say because after 9, Hironobu Sakaguchi left partway into 10, and the series went to shit. You go and play Lost Odyssey or Last Story, and you can see where a lot of that talent went. You know, where it could have gone if he had stayed. It would have been 10 would have been a good game. Yeah, this is all my opinion. I'm not gonna shove it down people's throats and stuff like that. You know, it's like if you can't agree to it or anything like that, I'm not gonna make you. Like I reviewed Artenako Koga. I gave it like 80% or something. I forget what the score I gave it was, but it was a pretty decent game. It's like you have to kind of step back, and that's why I think a lot of people who review games nowadays they don't really take a step back and kind of soak it in. The games that you're playing, like I can go back now and say that these are the games that I might have given even a worse score than I did if I would have kind of absorbed it more. Like L.A. Noire, probably like a 60% game, a 6 out of 10 game. You know, it's or 5 out of 10. You know, it wasn't that good a game. The facial animations were really good, no doubt, but the rest of the game, kind of trashy. You know, it seemed pretty like there was a lot of lazy, really boring parts, and it really stretched out. And like some of the parts, like you're instantly thrown onto like homicide. And it's like, oh, I thought that was like the last thing you'd be on because that's where they were building it up to. The story wasn't that great, and like the mechanics were kind of off. Like the whole doubt versus lie thing was kind of silly. Oh fuck you! No, Chrono Cross is too damn good. I think it's misunderstood. I think the problem I had with Chrono Cross. So what happened was that I played Chrono Cross when the first time it came out. My brothers had beaten it, and I was like, I played maybe about 3 hours of it, and I didn't like it. Like I couldn't get into the combat of it. As you can see, like the combat's kind of different than your normal kind of games. What happened was I was like in college. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to start reviewing games seriously, I need to go back and play these games to completion. I need to start treating every game fresh-minded. I won't listen to opinions, stuff like that. So I went back, played Chrono Cross from beginning to end, and I fell in love with it. You know, the story is incredible. It's way more intense than Chrono Trigger ever was, or a lot of games. I think it's one of the most emotionally driven games ever. Absolutely, that in the air. NIER that came out like last year. I think it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I think it's because people look at too many things at the surface. Yeah, see, Porn, what you gotta understand is that like every single RPG ever, it starts off slow, and it's from there it kind of takes off. Like right now, we're getting into one of probably the most intense moments in Chrono Cross. Like we're right, you can see like look what's on the screen right now. I was an orphan. We're getting to the part. If you played Chrono Trigger before, just watch what happens, and you'll see how intense things can be. Just this goddamn music. You'll see. They explain it. I don't know if this is the part after all. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of builds up to that moment. I'm trying to remember, like, where was it in this game? Where am I at? Alright, I'm at... Maybe it's not until much later. It's probably not even until the next disc. Yeah, it isn't. Oh. It's almost like one of the last parts of the game. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's... No, it's actually Frog's theme is the victory one. That's not Luca's. Yeah, it's Frog's. Glenn's. Oops. What's traditionally it? At least I would assume it was. But yeah, this game takes place, I think it's 20 years after Chrono Trigger. So, have you guys ever played Chrono Trigger? Here, I'll play Frog's theme, just so you can kind of get it. Oh wait, I'm way off. For some reason, that wasn't. Maybe it was Lucas. Oh, you totally got me on that one. Well done, poor him. You totally showed me on that one. Like, I should have known that too, because I just saw like 3 people beat Chrono Trigger. It's because it's like, wait, people have a theme? I was like, let's play Robo's theme. Robo's theme is pretty cool. Come on, play it. There we go. No Rick Astley version. I just like the fact that some of my favorite games of all time, all the music is composed by the same dude, Yasunori Mitsuda. He did the music for Chrono Trigger, he did it for Chrono Cross, he did it for Xenogears, Xenosaga, Xenoblade, Shadow Hearts. Like, what was... I'm curious. I totally don't know. It's weird how Marl's theme is straight up music box. Yeah. I know that's not how you do it, but I'm not going to be gross about it. Absolutely. Man. It's like they don't make games like that so much anymore, you know. Xenoblade and Last Story, I think, are still kind of holding on to it, but they're saying that, like, with Final Fantasy 15, they might go into more of an action RPG direction, which is like, oh man, you're bending over backwards for the masses, and I'm not saying it needs to be traditional, but, you know, some people have done so much with, like, the regular, like, you know, random battles and stuff like that. Like, I thought Chrono Trigger did it really well. You just run on battle, then you just engage into it, you know? I didn't like it how, like, Final Fantasy 12 did it. I thought it was very lazy how they did it. And, you know, it's like, you set the gambits, you just sit back. And the licensing system was pure bullshit, too. It's... yeah, 12 didn't do such a great job with it. I thought, like... I know it sounds kind of funny because it's also sort of supposed to be like an MMO. I thought Dot Hack kind of did it well, where it's like you get engaged in battle, but you don't see what you're supposed to be facing until you're into battle. So it's like, it's a much bigger surprise. Like, holy crap, I'm facing off against a monster like 30 levels above my own, kind of thing. I guess it's because you're supposed to figure it out when the screen shakes and stuff like that. Yeah, I couldn't get into 12 at all. Shoot, let's just talk about RPGs, guys. Screw me playing Chrono Cross. Let me go save it. Yep, and you can't escape. We just did like this gigantic preview for Final Fantasy 13 2. I think we got like some of the best coverage of any site, and I'm not trying to brag about it. I think it is simply the case, and even the person who shares my opinion about the whole game, like, I played 5 hours of it and I didn't like it one bit. It's like something you can kind of get into. I don't know. She said they're fixing a lot of stuff about it. Yep, that's it. Paul, have you never played it? It's an acquired taste. It's a sort of a love it, hate it kind of thing for Dot Hack. I got really into it because I liked how back when it first came out, it was like, alright, the first game, it comes out in January, second one comes out in April, the third game comes out in September, the last one comes out in December. That's what I really like. That's like, wow, episodic gaming that actually works. But it's like, you know, pretty good games, you know, it's, at least in my opinion, and each game came out with like an anime episode or two or something like that. And I like the story a lot, because I don't know if you ever heard of the Dot Hack story, which was basically, you know, people getting killed inside an MMO, got put into they got put into a coma in the real world. And I like the idea because it's like, oh, how cool would it not how cool would it be to be in a coma? How cool would it be to have a game where it's like, you know, it's all virtual reality and it's like tens of millions of people play it, but it's all through like a virtual reality thing, and they have like these cool little things where it's like, all right, once you get out of the game and you can go to the message board, you can check out the news of the like local news and online news, and they have like this funny little running documentary. And they have people, they have like a fan art message board where people are drawing art of like all different kinds of things, and you can download the art and you can change your desktop to different themes and different wallpapers and music. And you know, it was really cool. It was kind of, for someone who got into MMOs around that time. Well, yeah, oh yeah, in the game, and in the game itself, of course, it's just like an MMO. It's an like offline MMO. So you know, you're running around and you have like, you see a bunch of different NPC, like you see different, like, well, they're supposed to be characters, of course, like actual live characters, but they say random stuff as you walk by. Excuse me. And you can run up to them, talk to them, trade with them for different items, and then you get like a lot of friends, and then you can send messages, and then there's also an email system. So people would be sending you email, and sometimes it'd be random stuff like, "Oh, this is what I ate today," or you know, "I went out and I went shopping and I bought these new shoes," or something like that. You know, random crap like you would expect. And then sometimes your character would reply back to them, and then there's this big dialogue going on, and I just thought the story was pretty cool, and yeah, it was kind of like that. And I think it's, oh man, I gotta say, I think the first one is pretty cheap. Like I say cheap, and the first time I pull it up, $55 new. But look, like here, oops, let me pull it up. Like that. All right, so it's $55 new, but look. $8.50 used, and that's the kind of price you can expect to see on this game, like $20 maybe. I've seen it at GameStop for like that much. I don't know where you live, so like, let me see. Amazon's no, $55 would be if it's in pretty good demand. It's just hard to find. Yeah, this is, oh man, PlayStation 2. Damn, that was a good period. You know, it's one of the best libraries, if not the best. And then they kind of fucked it up when PlayStation 3 came out, and there was like little to no RPGs for a long time, and there still isn't really that many of them. Maybe like you can count them on both hands how many RPGs of the traditional type there are out there. There's more in Japan. There's more visual novel games, like dating sims, than there are actual RPGs. But even SNES had like a lot of terrible games. People just kind of want to remember the good ones that Super Nintendo had. Yeah, Nintendo really screwed up, but that was because, of course, you know, Squaresoft. Man, they really fucked up when they went Square Enix. But Squaresoft, of course, went more for Sony stuff, you know. I mean, it was like, oh, here is Super Mario RPG, and then, you know, we'll go to PlayStation 1. We'll make like Parasite Eve, Xenogears, Threads of Fate, Chrono Cross, Vagrant Story, Final Fantasy games, of course. So it's like, you know, whatever. Yeah. Well, try talking to Melakil. I can't talk to him about Final Fantasy IX, and he can't get. It's like it's okay if he didn't like certain parts of that game. Like some people don't like certain, I don't know, characters or something like that. He just can't get over the way they look. So he's like, "Oh, I hate the game." I was like, "Oh." So I played Farmville all the time. Does that mean I'm a gamer? Man, GameStop's store is slow as molasses. I think something must be going on. Maybe there's a sale over there. Oh wait. Now it loads. You can get it on GameFly. That's true, but at the same time, like, what? I thought GameFly doesn't start until midnight for their Black Friday deals. I know like Walmart has like 10 o'clock stuff. But I'm just trying to look at .hack. It should be like separated, like, alright, these are the guys that want the consoles, and these are the guys who just want to look at a game's price tag. Oh yeah, I can see it on eBay. That works. There you go. Some people are selling .hack brand new for like $10. Some people are selling it like maybe even lower than that, used. So if you want to check it out, since I mean they're kind of cheap, there's 4 of them, and just like a .hack GU, there's 3 of them, which is the PlayStation 2 variant, and well, the later PlayStation 2 variant. So. Oh, that's pretty fucked up. I never go unless I have someone, guys, has a history of doing it right. You know, it's if it wasn't even the proper game and they advertised it as the proper game, then you can report them, get all your money back, and have them put like a negative feedback and all that stuff. That's alright, Casey. We're just sitting here talking about RPGs. Here we go. Look at that. $10. 24 hours. You can have it shipped to you. 9.7? I don't know if .hack infection is a 9.7, but, you know, whatever. Sure, why not? Yeah, $10. You know, I think it's worth checking it out. You know, and if you don't, even if you don't want to spend that out, maybe you can like watch videos or something like that. Like, I don't know. This is the kind of look it's got going on for, you know, it's like they have so much stuff. You know, it's got that kind of look to it where it's like all the information's always down in the, oops, it's like in that corner, and they got like details on it. It's like that typical thing where they have like running dialogue and whatnot. Man, I better get like a big image. I'm giving you all like tiny ass pictures of it. Well, yeah, like this is like the home screen. So you got like the world is what it's called, the MMO, and they got the mailer, which is all the email, news, accessory, which is like, you know, all the other stuff like that, audio, so that's going to change the, and then saving data. But the cool thing is that like on the message board and stuff like that, people like the great thing is about those, when you go to the warp area inside the hometown, like there's a warp to go to, you know, the battle stuff. There's it's completely random, so there's like thousands of different combinations. You string words together to create like thousands of different places to go to. And well, maybe not thousands, maybe like just hundreds. But people on message boards saying, "Hey, I found this great rare item. This is where I found it. I found it at searching dark shadow or something like that." It's like you string these 3 different sets of words together, and it creates a place. And so you set it, and then when you go to the warp area, the warp portal, it shows it as one of the like key areas, so you can go there anytime and get some great little items and stuff like that. Yeah, I just sometimes graphics, I do put graphics a little bit higher, but that's only sometimes, I guess. Like when it pisses me off, like White Knight Chronicles for the PlayStation 3, for example, what they did was that they had this thing where it's like, all right, they walk to a cliff area, and they looked out, they see this giant walking beast, and it has like a city on its back, and what they did, they pre-rendered it. Like you ran up to this edge, and you could see the monster like making its way towards you anyway, and they pre-rendered the whole shot of that, and then they still have them in real game cinematics, traveling up to it and stuff like that. So it's like, why bother? You know, it seems really silly. I think the craziest thing that I've heard is that Square Enix complaining on 13 is that, oh, we can't make towns or cities, they're too hard to make with this technology. And then you look at like Fable and Oblivion and all these games. It's like, what the hell is Square Enix having trouble with that the Western developers have no problem at all creating these big cities and stuff like that? It's like, what are you talking about? This should be no problem at all for you guys. You guys have all the cutting edge technology when it comes to graphics. It's just it's people defend them when they say that they can't make these big cities. Like, no, we're just gonna have moguls where you can do shops and stuff like that, but you can't go to towns. We can't do that. Too much work. Way too many NPCs and dealing with their schedules and stuff like that. It's like White Knight Chronicles had huge cities, and it came out around the same time Final Fantasy 13 did. They had these big cities of people just walking around, no business, working at their job, that kind of thing. It's like, how come Level 5 got this, but Square Enix couldn't? Bull. They don't. That's the thing, is that they want to make super huge towns, but how come they could? It's like the Grand Theft Auto syndrome. It's like, all right, in the PlayStation 2 days, here is Grand Theft Auto 3. Here's San Andreas. You got this huge set of islands and this huge town and this huge city, and then you go to the PlayStation 3 or the 360 or whatever. All of a sudden, you're like really shrunken down areas, fewer weapons, fewer cars, fewer quests. It's a much shorter game. It's like, what are these people doing? It's like, I think we can make some sacrifices if it means the game's going to be. I'm not saying a game needs to be 100 hours in order to be satisfying. Then again, Skyrim is infinitely replayable, so I guess that's pretty sweet, and that's a huge selling point. But it's like, some things like, what happened to improving upon a game? San Andreas was insane, and then Grand Theft Auto 4 I hated. I thought they did a huge backtrack. But it's like Final Fantasy 12 versus 13. 12 had big cities and stuff like that. It's like, how come when you have more technology you can do a lot less with it? It's like, I mean, Final Fantasy 13 wasn't even big on the disc. Like, it didn't even take up the dual layer disc. I think it was at most maybe 20 gigs or less or something like that. You have a 50 gigabyte Blu-ray disc, and yet they still can't accomplish it. It's like, it has my hopes for when Versus 13 comes out that they figure things out, because Versus 13 has this capacity for these huge cities. Like, if you saw the trailers, you see them in these giant mechs walking around these big cities. Like, how come Tetsuya Nomura can do this in Versus 13, but 13 couldn't do it? And when 15 comes out, most likely of course on the PlayStation 4 and maybe the next Xbox, if they decide to still go down that road, I'm sure they will. It's like, oh man, there's going to be even greater technology with the next systems. Does that mean that we're going to get smaller amounts of settings and stuff like that? It's like, alright, Final Fantasy 13, you can render these gigantic monsters in the field, but you can't create a town. It's like, get the foundation first before you start going for these stupid things that don't have as much bearing on people. I don't know. It's like Painkiller can do that on the PC of the gigantic bosses. Shadow of the Colossus could do gigantic bosses. It's not that impressive. And there's huge fields and stuff like that. I don't know. I think I'm rambling about this, but it's like, I feel like they've done a big disservice, and it seems like so many RPG developers have gone to the portables and stuff like that we no longer have as much a stomach for these RPGs as we used to. Too many have gone mass appeal. I think BioWare has become garbage. People support BioWare so much, and I just don't know why. It's like, I did not. But Mass Effect 1 was okay. I thought Mass Effect 2 was a bad game. A lot of people love Mass Effect 2. I didn't think it was that good. I thought it went way too massive. I think BioWare sucks at sequels, except for Baldur's Gate 2. Baldur's Gate 2 was really good. But I didn't like Mass Effect 2. I didn't like Dragon Age 2. I didn't... And some of the other... I think when they went original, that's when I stopped liking BioWare as much. I thought when they were doing licensed games, they were great. Star Wars games, Forgotten Realms games. Really good stuff. Well, it was kind of bullshit. We did an interview for them for Mass Effect 3, and they said, "All right, how you made a lot of RPG fans upset because it felt like you went way too action oriented." And like my boss who did the interview asked him, I was like, "What are you doing to make up for that?" And like, what do you guys? You said you're really focusing on the RPG stuff this time around. What exactly do you mean by that? And he brought up like, "Oh, you can customize your guns now." It's like, what the fuck? Bad Company 2 did. You can like change the look of your weapons. You know? That I wouldn't call Bad Company 2 an RPG, would you? In Mass Effect 3, I saw like a behind closed doors demo for it. There was on-rail shooting, there was death animations, there was really creepy stories that made Commander Shepard look like a pedophile. It was really weird. And then they had like all these like things like I've seen, like all this stuff in there that I've seen in other games. It's like none of it looked original, a lot of it looked borrowed, and it felt like the only reason they delayed Mass Effect 3 was so they could put multiplayer in it and slap an online pass on it so that they didn't have to worry about used games. Yeah, Bad Company 2. Battlefield 3 is totally an RPG. It's got RPG mechanics, I'm not going to deny that, but Mass Effect 1 was way much an RPG when it first came out, and nowadays it's straight up an action game. It's no longer an RPG as far as I'm concerned, and that's what kind of pissed me off about BioWare, and that's why it's like I don't really support them much anymore. People, they were talking about Game of the Year and stuff like that. I just don't see it at all. Now that I think about it, I'm trying to remember what we gave. Because in 2009, I think we gave Game of the Year to Dark Souls. Oh man, I think we gave. Yeah, I tried to fight Mass Effect 2 as Game of the Year. I think we gave it to it. I was like, oh man. I had one good thing though. I was like, if it wasn't for me, Nier wouldn't have been best soundtrack of the year, and it clearly deserved that much. I played Dragon Age. I hated Dragon Age. It was so boring. You know, it was so tedious and so. It wanted to be Baldur's Gate 3, and it was just like, oh, this is totally not that game. Hello, Bob. I haven't seen you in a while on this channel, anyway. I'm still playing these games, you know? I got a PlayStation 3. I'm playing Xenogears and Final Fantasy 7 on the damn thing, you know? We don't put up a lot of reviews on our site much anymore because there's not a lot of RPGs coming out, you know? My boss has been talking about we need to kind of stretch what we classify as an RPG now, I think. Let me see what games I've covered. Because I did a bunch. I mean, I did War in the North, and that's straight up that's an action RPG of like, because of the same guys who did Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, stuff like that. So that's clearly an RPG of the old kind. Yeah, no, definitely. If you want to get a PS3, I love my PS3 to death, and I feel like the PS3 does more for RPGs than the 360, because the thing is that it does this thing where it's like it releases on the 360 first, and then it comes to the PS3 as like an improved version, like Tales of Vesperia and Eternal Sonata, and even like older games like BioShock. It came over, and it's like an improved version with more features and stuff like that. So it's like the PS3. I feel like it's a better example, especially because it's uncompressed, and the fact that when you download these games from the PSN, you can you can make them look sharper and up-res them and stuff like that, make them go widescreen and stuff like that. Let me see what I've reviewed. Alright, I did Lord of the Rings, War in the North. I did Mark Leon, Revenge of the Bitch. That was classy. Let's see. Well, we got Dark Souls, of course. Skyrim. Straight up single-player RPG. And that's, like, Dark Souls and Skyrim, it goes to show, you know, it's like, you can have a great single-player game. You know, it's not that hard. Well, I guess it was hard for them, but you know, it's I guess still goes to show that you can have a great single player RPG. You don't need to sell out and make a multiplayer mode to try to keep people interested. It just means that your single player wasn't good enough, and that's why you needed multiplayer. Final Fantasy Tactics falls hard. Disgaea 4, of course. Kingdom Hearts, Dead Island. Dead Island was as close to an RPG, kind of like Borderlands is, I guess. Hard reset. Witcher 2 was a very, very good game, and it's straight up an RPG. Deus Ex. We got Risen 2 coming out next year. Legend of Heroes, of course. You got the portable games. Terra, if you want an online game. I gave Dead Island an 8 out of 10 just because it's like, if you play it with friends, it can be a great mess. A wonderful mess. Well, Palm, look at Skyrim. Infinitely playable because there's always going to be quests. Because quests are generated. People running up to you with like a letter like, hey, something, we need you to figure this out kind of thing. It's like, Skyrim is the perfect example of a game that even Todd Howard said, why do you think Fallout never had an online multiplayer mode or anything like that? It's like, they don't need it, you know? The game itself does well enough on its own. It means they'd have to shift their focus away from the single player onto multiplayer. Even if they had another team, it's like the vision wouldn't be right. It would be totally thrown off by this lame-ass multiplayer mode. It's like Bioshock 2 when it had multiplayer. People didn't like it. You know, no one really plays Bioshock 2's multiplayer. It's just, you know, it's randomly generating content. There's always something that goes on that kind of generate. No, it wouldn't be repetitive because there's always new stuff happening. Like, gosh, I can't really remember how it works. I think it's because I think it's just like they kind of string things together to create this new content. It's like everything is sort of just happens. I think it's because of the dragons also, of course, kind of like the dragons are also creating a lot of the quests and stuff like that. And they've gotten rid of a lot of the repetitive nature, like they got rid of a lot of the, like, you needed to go so much for the dungeon crawling stuff. Oh yeah, get Skyrim. It's got like 50 Game of the Years, and people are saying it's better than Morrowind. And when people who loved Morrowind say it's better than even that game, you know it's serious stuff. Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of dragons. I don't know if they're infinite. It could be. I'm not told. I don't really remember. I think there's a way to make it so that there's infinite dragons. There's already mods for it. For Skyrim, people have figured out mods to really increase the look of the graphics. Like, there's even a guide you can find where it's like, this is how you can get the absolute best output of Skyrim. On the PC, anyway. Oh, I hated Oblivion, and I didn't like Fallout 3 or New Vegas at all. I thought it got really boring. In the case of Skyrim, there's stuff there that makes it way more interesting than it has been. You know, it's Oblivion. I thought did a pretty bad job, and like I said, it's all that dungeon crawling and stuff like that got really tedious and really boring. But in Skyrim's case, there's a much more profound impact that you can create onto the environment itself. Like, you kill this guy who's chopping wood for the economy. If you kill him, then you ruin this part. Like, he can't get the wood to this person to build like houses and stuff like that. You totally wreck towns and stuff like that. Then again, what I did at one point in Skyrim, I took off all my clothes, left myself in my underwear, took out a club, and just started running around destroying entire cities and stuff like that. It was it's what I do in every Elder Scrolls game. I just dress down and just carry around like a big club or something like that, just like wheeling and killing guards and, you know, beating up dragons and stuff like that. Two Worlds 1 was awful. Two Worlds 2 was a lot better. It's like Risen. Risen 1 was pretty good, but it suffered terribly because of a shitty port, because they decided 6 weeks before they released the game, hey, we're going to put this on the 360 too, but it's going to be completely unoptimized, and the UI is going to be way off, like the resolution and stuff like that. Risen 2, I got to do an interview and check out the game and stuff like that, and I did a roundtable discussion with it. It's a hell of a lot better. Heck, I can't wait for Phantasy Star Online 2 either, for that matter, but, you know, whatever. What else was there? Radiant Historia, yeah. I'm excited for the Vita, because the great thing about the Vita coming out is that Sony introduced that program. Okay, so we're going to make it incredibly easy to port your game between the Vita and the PlayStation 3. So they're already talking about, like, we'll put Dragon's Crown on there, we're going to put Monster Hunter on there, we're going to have Nippon Ichi's going to make games, Treasure, Cave might finally be Cave is putting goddamn games on a Sony product. It's like they've been making so many shoot 'em ups for 360. It's like finally Cave is making games for Sony's products now. You know, it's that idea where it's like PSP had a lot of great RPGs that got overlooked because of all the piracy and shit like that. But now that they can easily port this up to the PS3 using the same kind of, you know, development kit, the same program.